Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your February 2021 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new readings, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before I begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again, a reminder not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. I will not be soliciting you for anything, ever, so do not connect with that person. That person is not me. It is a scammer. All right, with that said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from your body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Fantastic. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. And let's see what your chakra energy will be for this time. How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides. Ooh, show me clearly. There we go. That one just came right out. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So we have here universal light, which is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above the crown. So here there is a sense of things really coming together, of you being this light and also connecting with something more. And I'm actually going to get into these a bunch more when we have the cards turned over. So we have Rebirth, which is the earth star chakra located 6 inches below your feet. And then we have meditation, which is the one that popped right out, which is the crown chakra. Now the left-hand side here is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We start off with the Ten of Cups, which is beautiful. We then have the Seven of Swords, the King of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the Ten of Swords. So you're completing a cycle here mentally and emotionally, which is really nice. We have the Hermit, which is beautiful because the full moon on the 27th of February and also on the 28th of March is in Virgo. So that's going to come through that's going to really impact you during this time, Capricorn. You then have the Sun, the Three of Swords, and the King of Pentacles coming through. Of course, this represents you in the minor arcana. You're also represented by the Devil in the major arcana. Then we have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, time frame of October 23rd to November 21st. Justice, which is Libra energy, September 23rd to October 22nd. It's very interesting. Libra time frame goes straight into Scorpio's time frame, so that's something to be mindful of. The Four of Cups, and then the Star card, which is Aquarius energy, January 20th to February 18th is the time frame. Okay. So let's look at your chakra energy. We have the Soul Star chakra, the Earth Star chakra, and the crown chakra coming through. Now, with the universal light of the Soul Star chakra, there is a sense of more energy, more power coming around you, kind of like your aura showing a bit more. There's a sense of just an empowerment about the way that you're moving forward and what it is that you desire. Now, sometimes this is going to be hard for you to really hold on to see the way that you want to move forward, because there is a sense here of a moving away from pain and a seeing what it is that you greatly desire. So when you're in kind of the pain bubble, what you're going to be looking at is all the ways that the light doesn't shine, all the ways that you can't move forward, all the ways that you feel like life doesn't have meaning. But with the universal light coming down around you and the sense of the epicenter of your soul being this giant star, the sun to warm you, to guide you, to move you forward, that's going to be your balance. So you're going to have a little bit of this tug of war during this time, this sense of doubt, and it's, I don't want to say despair because it doesn't have to be that intense, but for some of you Capricorns, it may very well be the sense of, I don't know how to move forward. And then you're going to have these moments of like, Eureka, I get it, I see the light, I know what it is that I desire. And this comes from the moon because we're questioning our harmony, we're questioning our balance, we're questioning the way that we move forward during this time. So that's very intense. And then you have here rebirth. Now this is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below your feet. And I really see this with every single step that we take, that connection to the earth, that power, that brilliance that moves us forward. So here with the rebirth, you're going to see things changing for you. You're going to see yourself looking at everything that you have been through, every trial, every tribulation, every heartbreak. And we do have, with the 10 of Swords and with the Death card, we have this rebirth coming forward. And it's going to play such a prevalent role within your life during this time. It's kind of like you've been the inchworm, not the inchworm, you've been the caterpillar, right? Inching along, trying to get to where it is that you need to be. And then there is this sense of light bulb moments. There is this sense of, oh my gosh, like that's what it was. That's what I needed. That's what I was looking for. And it starts to transform you. And once you're flying, once you're soaring in the sky, you don't look down and go, oh, well, remember being the inchworm? I like that better. It's embracing this freedom that is coming because you are being reborn, because you are leaving behind a lot of the pain, a lot of the disappointments, but you're refocusing your energy. You're changing things up. And that is going to be so powerful for you. That's going to be such a way to break free, to move forward, to say, this is where I need to be. This is what I want for my existence and myself and my soul. And so there is this freedom that comes, and it leads you to meditation. Meditation during this time, especially with the new moon, there we go, the new moon in Pisces on the 13th of March, is going to be so important to sit there and connect, to sit there and say, what does my heart want? What does my soul want? How do I move forward? Where is it that I need to be? And it's opening up that energy for us. It's sitting there and saying, it is time to be quiet. It is time to connect mind and heart together, to see how I move forward, to see what it is that I desire, to better understand myself. And one of the beautiful ways that I find to kind of actively meditate throughout your whole entire day is just to breathe through your nose. And it sounds so easy, but it's something we don't do. We breathe through our mouth a lot. And that is different. It's a different way of getting our oxygen, of course, but it isn't also as satisfying as if you breathe through your nose. So if you just close your mouth and breathe through your nose, just regular breaths, letting that become part of your daily routine, your daily self, it is so much more centering. It's calming. It's calming in a way that's really quite exquisite. And it brings you here, I'm going to jump to the tarot, but let's first talk about the moon and how it affects you. It brings you to surrendering to the divine because there's power coming forward, because you're focusing on what it is that you love. And that becomes a very powerful place to be. What is it that I love? What is it that I need? How is it that I need to move forward? What is it that I desire? And it's stepping out of the place that we thought, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, this is what I want to do. And it's kind of broadening our horizons, broadening our minds, broadening our ideas. Now, there's a little bit of a resistance here with the full moon in Virgo because it's the most discriminating of all the moons, which doesn't sound nice, but it is actually. To sit there and say, no, this is what I'm accepting in my life, and this is what I'm not. This is what I desire from the people around me, and this is what I don't. This is where I need to be. This is how I need to feel. And you might think, well, that's a very selfish moon. But at times we have to be a bit selfish. And it's not necessarily selfish. It's determined. It's focused. It's kind of the moon that says there's a place for everything and everything in its place. And we tend to have that mindset around us during this time. And with the full moon in Virgo, it says you are good enough, which I always thought sounded so patronizing to say you're good enough. It's like, oh, okay, go off, play, do whatever you want, pat on the head, kind of like being a small child. Go off and just be enough, like just be good enough, whatever. But it's not that. It's sitting there and saying, in this moment, where you are right now, you are enough. There's power and there is brilliance to you. And there's kind of this tense energy around you, Capricorn. I just felt it in the way that I was speaking, in the way I was holding my shoulders. I had to release it. And so here, just know that there's going to be this energy around you during this moon where it's kind of like, I have to get the most done as I humanly possibly can. And if I don't, I will have wasted this time. No, that's not it at all. This is a time to look at what it is that you really want. And this is a time to embrace your helpfulness towards your goals. This is also the moon where we're at our most helpful. Now, note that there's a bit of frustration with this moon because everybody thinks that they're being super helpful if only you do it exactly the way that they want you to do it. And we all have that tendency during this time. It's like, I see what needs to be done. I know what I want. I've made up my mind. This is exactly the way it is. Just follow my lead. And this is going to be a time where we need to kind of step back and say, okay, listen, we're all driving each other crazy. How is there a give and take that's needed here? How can we, embrace what we desire, but also move forward in our truth? We're also going to be very nostalgic during this time, right? Looking at the past and thinking, wow, I really had it all figured out back then. And then we're going to be also dreaming about better times, better futures. So we're dreaming about the greatness of the past, and we're dreaming about the greatness of the future. We're missing the present. And with this moon, it's so important to be in the present. Our harmony, our balance is being questioned. And as we're questioning it, we're letting go of so much. You're going to see solutions being found, being brought forward to the balance and the harmony in your life. But you need to ask the whys and the what fors and the how comes. It's so important for you to turn inward. And that's why it's so beautiful just to sit with your breath. And I know it sounds boring to say, just sit and breathe. So if you don't want to just sit and breathe, it's just breathing through your nose as you go about your chores, as you do everything that you need to do, as you work, as you live, as you laugh. Think about trying to go for a walk, just breathing through your nose. It's challenging. You're challenging yourself in a very different way. And that's what this moon likes. It likes those challenges. Now, do note that Virgo and Pisces, the signs of Virgo and Pisces, are going to be the most affected by this moon. So if you have Virgo or Pisces within your chart, wherever those areas are, they're going to be more affected and kind of come out a bit more than the other areas within your natal chart. Also, Taurus, Virgo, and of course Capricorn will find that they are really favored, that you guys are really favored. These earth sign energies are really favored with this regeneration, with this more efficiency mindset coming forward. So there is a sense of something really great coming out of this time, a new focus, a new sense of truth and identity and dedication coming forward for you. But it does mean that the rebirth is very intense. Now, on the 13th of March, we have the new moon in Pisces. And the new moon in Pisces brings, of course, a new start and new beginnings coming. But this new moon in Pisces also keeps the same energy that we had in Virgo, that we know what we want, we know what we believe, and we just kind of want to convert the world to be just like us. And as utopia-like as that sounds, it will all fall apart, like Dostoevsky says. We would just pop our bubbles of utopia because, first of all, we're not the greatest in the world, as hard as that is to come to terms with. And secondly, listening to other people, gathering up other ideas, looking at different sides of the story, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is a fantastic way to live life. So here we have the new moon in Pisces, and it is saying meditate and contemplate. Meditate and contemplate on what it is that you desire. That's where your crown chakra really starts to shine during this time, because it's meditating, contemplating, seeing, asking, discovering what it is that you want, where it is that you need to be, how it is that you need to move forward. This leads us then to the otter spirit. Now, the otter spirit is the spirit animal of February. And I know we're only in February for a blink of the eye, but this spirit animal coming around us, being a part of us. Now, whether you believe in it in abstraction or in absolute, that's perfectly up to you. But the otter spirit here says, you are never alone. You are never alone. There's always more coming. And it's saying here, stop swimming against the current and go with the flow. Go with the flow of what your heart wants. Go with the flow of what you desire. This is a time to embrace your joy in life, to bring forward unity, to connect with your subconscious. It brings you then to the beautiful spirit animals of March, which are the whale spirit and the wolf spirit. The whale spirit here says, trust in the great mysteries. The wolf spirit says, turn knowledge into wisdom. And that's going to be so important for you during this time, to sit there and understand, because the full moon in Virgo, I have something caught in my throat, just wants everything figured out. Just wants to have all the answers, know exactly the right thing, exactly the right way to do everything. And the whale spirit here is saying, go with the flow. You know, just like the otter spirit was saying, go with the flow. But it's saying here, trust in the mysteries. Trust that you're not supposed to know everything. Let yourself discover, let yourself see, let yourself become. Because the whale spirit, if you just visualize this whale spirit as the great record keeper of the earth, as this great truth finder, as this great, not truth finder. No, it's not truth finding. It's recording. It's sitting there and seeing all that needs to be seen and saying, I will remember. And if we can look at our lives like that, to the good and the bad, the love, the laughter, the ecstasy, the sadness, the sorrow, the depression, and say, I remember. I record it. I just don't let it rule me. That is the stuff of sages and mystics and gurus and healers. To be able to be at that level is extraordinary, and is something that we will thrive for our whole entire lives. This is telling us to listen to our inner voice, to connect with the power of our emotions, to listen to the energy vibration because of the whale song, the way it vibrates, to listen to that vibration and let it move us forward. There's a spiritual power here that we need to connect with, and that's shining through with your soul star chakra, okay? And it's coming through with your rebirth in the earth star chakra. Then you have the wolf spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. That's because that's why we live. We live to take everything that we've learned, everything that we've discovered, and let it be the wisdom that we live by, that guides us, that moves us, that changes us. So turn knowledge into wisdom is a time where we're really sharpening our intellect. We're looking at things, we're seeing things more deeply, more openly, more honestly. We have this deep need for connection during this time, which can be frustrating with the state of the world, and can also lead to some really beautiful connections coming forward. There is a sense here of looking for freedom and of really following your instincts. But you're also looking at the place where you stand within the world's order, within your own personal pack, within the world, but also within the world itself. And it's claiming your space with pride and with dignity. Because even if you're sitting there and thinking, Dane, this is not where I'm staying my whole entire life, which, respect, I totally understand. But standing where you are right now and not giving up on yourself, not sitting there and saying, I should have done better, I should have known more, I should have, I should have, could have, would have myself to death. That's what we do, right? It's walking into this place of love, this place of understanding, and saying, I'm moving towards my happily ever after. Now, we like to say the happily ever after, and we think of the Cinderella story, right? And you marry your prince, your princess, your, royalty of choice, and you just go off into the sunset and are blissfully happy. That wouldn't be my happily ever after. And I think that gives a really unrealistic expectation of life. What we're looking at here is we're looking at what brings you joy. Are you a city person or a country person or a suburbs person? Are you the type of person who likes to go out on adventures, or are you more of a homebody? What is your idea of happiness? Do you want a whole bunch of children, or do you want to just kind of visit children every now and then, nieces and nephews, and, walk through a park and see kids laughing? And is that enough? You're allowed to choose your happiness. And sometimes the world sits there and says, this is what happiness is, fit into this box. No, you don't have to do that. Embrace your happiness. Embrace what you desire. Embrace what brings you joy. And if you have your 9-to-5 job, or, whatever time frame it is that pays the bills, make sure you have something that sings to your heart that you do on the side, that opens up your soul, that brings you forward in an extraordinary way. Because the 10 of Cups is saying you're completing a cycle when it comes to your heart. You're seeing things more openly, more honestly for yourself. And that's having you gather up things and say, it's time to move on. In some areas, Capricorn, it's time to move on. It's time to look at things and say, it was great, I learned a lot, gathering up my information, leaving some things behind because I don't need it and I don't want it. And now I'm moving forward. I'm moving forward to where I need to be, because you're claiming a throne of passion, a throne of what you desire. You're putting the crown on your head and saying, I can do this. Rolling up your sleeves, that fiery energy, that's the sun shining so brightly within you. That fiery, brilliant truth. It's moving you forward. It's bringing you on an adventure. It's having you see things so differently, so much more succinctly and powerfully than you had seen them before. And it's opening up these doors to you. You're starting to look at things and say, why not? Why not give it a try? This isn't saying, run away, join the circus, give up all responsibilities, though that might sound nice. I am a firm believer in holding true to our responsibilities, of carrying the burdens that we are supposed to carry, because they make us into noble human beings. But it's looking at where you need to be, at what it is that you desire, and saying, I matter. I can't just sacrifice myself for everybody else. And so often we do this. It's like, okay, I'll just carry it. Okay, I'll just do it. Okay, I'll just keep on going until we break. And it's not fair to us. It's just not. Here, we are taking up our passion, our fire, our truth. We're saying, this is the way I need to move forward. This is what I desire. This is what I'm looking for. And it's a truth that ignites us. And it brings us to the 10 of Swords. It brings us to the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. It brings us to this place that's crowned, it's rooted in our inner selves, and we're going to see it crowned in our public selves, that things are changing. I can't stay the same. You're going to feel like, well, you may not feel like it's suffocating you, but there is that feeling to it. What we feel here is that to stay in this tired complacency will just break our spirits, break our souls, hold us back, deny us so much that we need to embrace in order to move forward. The Ten of Swords is every single year, those swords being stabbed into our back, the lessons learned. And you know what's so funny is we look at this, right? And it's death, it's destruction, it's an end. But if you look at those swords, and you think, that's a fortune. People's lives were changed by being given a sword. In medieval times, swords were a sign of nobility. No commoner was allowed to carry a sword. Nobody would leave 10 swords in a person. It just wouldn't happen. That's money right there. So this is power. This is truth. This turns to money in your life because it's all the lessons you have learned and all the hardships you have been through. Say, this is where I stand. This is what I desire. This is what I need. It brings you to the hermit in your heart. It brings you to turning inward, to really looking and focusing on what's important to you, of the bigger picture, where you're standing, why you're standing there, the whys and the what fors that this hermit moon, that this Virgo moon calls us to. And it's the snow moon. It is, especially in the northern hemisphere, right? The southern hemisphere, not so much. But it's the moon that makes us sit and contemplate. When it's snowing, when you can't see, you don't go out. You don't go walking. You don't go and do all this stuff. You kind of hunker down. You take your tea and you kind of wait it out. So here, that is what you're doing. It's taking your warm beverage of choice and connecting with your soul, connecting with yourself, connecting with what you love. It's looking at you with power and with dignity, with honor and with respect, and connecting with the subconscious you, connecting with the you that doesn't always get a voice. And it's redefining your path forward as you embrace the sun, as you embrace your glory, as you look at what you love. This is happiness, joy, success, prosperity coming forward. This is the happiest card in the whole entire deck. And what's so interesting is that it's paired with one of the saddest. You have yourself turning inward, you have yourself looking at this happiness, and then you have doubts and fears and negativity, hurts and pains. All the muck and the mire that was spoken over you. As you were growing, as you were living, it's the heartbreaks when all you did was trust. It's the shattered dreams where all you did was try. And now it's having to stop and look at them and say, I see you. I see you pain. I see you disappointment. I see you heartbreak for what you are. You're what's shaped me. And the Three of Swords is the way that our pain has shaped us. Our hurt and our disappointment has moved us forward. Now, it can be how our pain has kept us from doing what it is that we need to do, kept us from moving forward in the way that we need to move forward. But it's looking at that now. It's addressing that pain. It's giving it a name. And when Spirit says to address the pain, to give it a name, to give it a face, it's visualizing that pain. It's visualizing, that bubble of hurt. And it can start to come to you as a color. It can come to you as a person's face. It can come to you as a person from your past. And you have to look at them or look at that abstraction and say, why are you here? Because we keep the pain. We keep the fear of the pain. We keep the hurt of the pain around us so that we protect ourselves, so that we don't have to live through that again. Why is it here? Why is it guiding you? Is it protecting you? Is it trying to make sure you're never hurt again? Is it, keeping people at a distance? Is it keeping you from your dreams because you don't want to be laughed at? You don't want to doubt and fear? This here, the Three of Swords, it needs to be addressed. Because when it is addressed, we break down that barrier so exquisitely that it becomes beautiful. And it leads us to claiming our throne, to claiming our prosperity. The King of Pentacles represents you, Capricorn. This is you putting on the throne, taking the wealth, taking the prosperity, even looking at it as seeds to be planted within the garden of your life. So often, and I like the metaphor of a garden because it's easy to understand. And so often we sit there and we think the more I achieve, the more I go after things, the more I have, the better I am. But we don't think of life as something that needs to be tended to, cared for, loved, and nurtured. When we think of our lives as gardens, when we think of the prosperity that comes in as seeds that we plant, and we start to look at our life, is one area of your garden like super extraordinary, like absolutely beautiful? And then the other areas of your garden, not so much. Overrun with weeds, completely in disarray. Is the garden just planted with poison? All the hurts, all the anger, all the disappointments that people have said to you over the years, just compiled within your soul, burying you down. It's time to weed out the negativity. It's time to sit there and say, no more. I am the king of my prosperity. I am bountiful, I am abundant, and I am assured. I am taking that prosperity and I am moving forward. No matter what anybody says, you become the ruler of your existence. You start to see the way that everything is interconnected. And the way that everything is interconnected is through the joys and through the pains. But it's also through the coping mechanisms that we learned when we were very small. And as children, we learned how to have people like us, how to not get that one parent to get really upset, or your parents to get really upset, or your guardians, or whatever. And we learned how to play the game. Unfortunately, for so many of us, the game was broken when we were little. And we take those rules into everyday life with our insecurities, with our doubts, with our fears, with our heartbreaks, with our disappointments that we were helpless to fight against. Or you might have had the best childhood ever. Then you fell in love. Then you started to meet with disappointments along the way. You didn't get the job that you wanted. Things didn't go the way that we expected them to. And then that's left with the same set of problems, just gotten at a different time. So don't sit there and think, oh my gosh, I can't move forward. It's been too long, or this is too silly, or people would laugh at the pain that I carry with me. Who cares? Who cares if they laugh? This is to strengthen your heart. This is to take your soul's power and move forward. And this is for you to become an extraordinary human being. Because that's what you were born to be. Absolutely extraordinary. It moves you to the death card, to the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, this transformation, this understanding, this coming together. This fact that we have different phases in our lives. And we have to let those phases go. We're looking at the world and we're seeing ourselves step in between our conscious understanding and our powerful truth. And we're going to see here with the death card, this dying away of the old self, this rebirth of the new, this sense of stepping into our power, our truth, and our understanding. It leads us to justice. It leads us to walking between the earthly plane and the spiritual plane. And it brings us to a place of justice, to a place of understanding, to a place of cutting through doubts, fears, negativity, anger, heartbreak, despair, and saying, this is for me. This is being discerning. So it plays in beautifully with the full moon in Virgo, because we're being discerning about the energy that we let in. We're being just to ourselves. Instead of looking at it and saying, how can I be just to everybody, and kind of forgetting about yourself. It's saying, how can I be just to myself to move me forward in my power, in my understanding, in my blessings, in my truth. And it brings us then to the Four of Cups. It brings us to divinity handing a gift that may very well not seem like a gift at all. It may seem like the biggest curse you ever walked into. Seriously, sometimes that's how the Four of Cups works, where you're looking at it and you're looking at your life and you're like, how did everything fall apart? How did I get here? But there's a blessing that's coming. There's a way that things are moving forward that have you looking at the world so differently. In the public arena, you're going to be a little bit more quiet. Well, a lot more quiet, Capricorn. Very introspective, very much sitting there and saying, this is what I need, this is what I don't, this is how I have to move forward. And it brings us to the Four of Cups. It brings us to the blessings that divinity gives us that we do not see, that we do not understand, that are hard for us to digest. But when we look back on the cycle of our life, it's like, oh, that was That was the heartbreak that made me. That was the pain that redefined me. That's when I opened my eyes and I saw. So here, don't curse blessings that are just hard to see, that are just outside of our realm of what we think a gift should be. It brings us to the star. It brings us to the highest form of man's perfection. Here, a wish comes true. Here, divinity looks within your soul and says, this is what you want. This is what you need. This is how you're moving forward. And does so extraordinarily. There's a sense of getting what your soul most longs for. Not what you want. Not what we sit there and cross our fingers for. But what our soul most longs for. And usually that comes through a healing process. That comes through a sense of greater understanding, greater truth, greater insights, greater ideas coming our way. Of looking at things and having our preconceived notions shattered apart. And that's going to be such a powerful part of this public arena time for you, is that when what you had once thought to be absolute truth starts to be shaken, and you start to see something deeper, something more real, more powerful coming forward. Now let's see what Luna has to say. How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me, that one, clearly. How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the February 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Awesome. So we have here path, growth, sovereignty, blossoming, stepping out of your comfort zone. The energy gains momentum. Your commitment is being tested. A fiery climax approaches. The end of a tough cycle approaches. And this is the full moon in Capricorn. So you're coming through within the moon's knowledge, So we have here your path. As you embrace what you love, as you look at what it is that you desire, your path opens up to you. You start to see things differently. It's like, oh, can I head this way? Like, do I want this? Is this where I'm going, what I'm looking for? And you're going to be surprised with what comes up, like what comes your way, what you see, what you hear, what comes around you. It brings you to a place of real growth because a new path is opening up to you. And it's as you claim your throne, as you sit there and take your power, you have two kings here, very focused on the earthly plane. There's a sense of you stepping into power on this earthly plane in a profound and magnificent way. It brings you to being the ruler of yourself, of what you desire after heartbreak, pain, disappointment, anger, upset, upheaval. And it has you blossoming into the person that you want to be as you turn inward, as you see the light that shines within you. It brings you then to stepping out of your comfort zone as you face heartbreak, pain, disappointment, anger, upset, upheaval. As you do this, the energy gains momentum as you claim your throne, as you put the crown upon your head, as you sit there and say, this is what I want. This is where I'm heading. And as we do this, there is the sense of the energy gaining momentum around us. Focus, insight, understanding, truth coming forward. It brings us then to your commitment being being tested, keeping to what it is that you desire. With the Death card, with the Justice card coming in, you're transformed and you're moving towards your justice, moving towards your truth, moving towards what is undeniably right for you. So your commitment to that is tested. You might find, and you will find, Capricorn, that during this time, we're tested in a way in the public arena that makes us think, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I moving forward the right way? What if I change things up and nobody likes it? What if nobody really understands me? What if I can't? And we're filled with these what ifs. But then we have to say, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? And focus on that. And that opens up the door. And it brings a fiery climax approaching. It brings a crescendo to the gifts that we are being given. And it brings us to knowing that the end of a tough cycle approaches, because what we greatly wish for, what we most desire, comes forward in a profound and beautiful way, has us opening up the door to our truth and to our power. Now let's see what the subconscious message from Luna is. Pleasure. Having your power come forward. Having yourself be focused on what brings pleasure into your life. Joy, ecstasy, power, truth. It isn't about life being pleasurable every single moment of every single day. But it is about sitting there and saying, my happiness, my pleasure, it matters. It brings us then to our subconscious, to go deeper into our subconscious Luna message, which says nothing will come of this. Nothing that we suspected, that we thought would come of this, will come. It's going to be so different. So don't sit there, Capricorn, and I know this is going to be super hard, but don't sit there and try to plan everything out. Let it happen. Let it develop. Let things be more organic and free. Embrace it. Because if you plan, you're going to see more often than not, those plans go topsy-turvy. And you're going to look at it and be like, why? And you're going to get so frustrated. This is a time to sit there and say, divinity, take the wheel. Lead me forward. It isn't saying to have, a general game plan for this time, but let things develop. See where life takes you. It's going to be fun. It then leads you to your subconscious chakra message, which is forgiveness, the heart chakra. It's always really nice to forgive others, right? And altruistic, I forgive you. You can even not really forgive them, but say you do, and it makes you feel better. Here's the thing. The thing is to forgive yourself for loving that person too much, for putting too much trust in that situation, for thinking things would turn out differently. When we forgive ourselves, when we sit there and say, it was a lesson that needed to be learned, not talking necessarily about the most catastrophic things, but even then, there can be some wisdom that comes of it, some way that you help heal others as you move forward in the truth of yourself. But the forgiveness, the not sitting there and saying, it's my fault. I messed up. I can't believe. Sitting there and saying, it's time for me to move forward. It's time for me to embrace who I am and what I desire in a profound and beautiful way. That's going to be the game changer for you during this time. That's going to open up your heart chakra like you cannot imagine. It brings you then to your subconscious tarot message, which is the Three of Wands. You're seeing new avenues open up to you. And you're in a bit of awe, but take them. Know, and you know this subconsciously, you've worked hard for this. Let yourself be guided in a new and wonderful way. All right, Capricorn, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we become the sovereign rulers of ourselves. And know that in the end, the tough cycles have ended, and we're stepping into a new age. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Capricorn, and may you have a blessed moon.